So the reason I was telling that to Marilee is because, you know, maybe the friends they have are not in the same situation that maybe the prospects we're meeting are. You know, we're meeting people who are, you know, maybe have a job, they're not teenagers anymore, you know, whatever. But basically, you always have a story to tell. And I was telling my father's story. It's the same with the products. Every time you're talking to someone, the first thing you should begin with is lead with the problem. Start with the problem. Agitate it a little bit. All right? Give them emotion around it. And then move into the solution. What you're going to find is instead of attacking your prospect, because if your prospect says, oh yeah, I work at this job. Oh man, that's terrible. You don't have any time. You don't see your children. So do you see what's happening here? Now you enter into a fight. But if instead you begin with your own story of why you got into this, then they're going to think, yeah, that's right. Me too. I don't have, you know, much time. Yeah, my kids, I'm kind of missing them. I don't want to do that. All right? So when I'm on the phone with a prospect, that's what I do. Is I like to tell a little bit about my story. And that's the way I do this. And then they become a little bit more vulnerable. They open up. They're not on the defense side. Okay? Very, very key. So that's why I like to present first. Okay? I don't like to get people, so I'm not in the invite anymore. Okay? So we did the invite. They're reviewing information. If I'm talking to a prospect and I'm at the point of presenting, then I'm going to present that way. I'm going to talk about me. I'm not attacking them. I'm talking about me, my own situation. And then they can relate and they can say, yeah, I feel the same too. Yeah, I've got like no time, or I've got this, or I've got that problem. Okay? So I like to go that way when I present. So that's how you start. So always remember that. PAS, problem, agitate, solve. Because that's going to give you the path. So instead of, imagine if I began tonight my meeting and I said, okay, how do you go to your you know, the person next to you and tell them how you start a presentation? Most of you would be like, ouch. Like, well, how do I start? But there you go. Now you have it. Okay, so you have that simple formula. Very, very key. So my goal is when I'm meeting with a prospect, my goal is that I want to give them a chance to get the whole story. Okay, because a lot of people will get a little bit of information, but never enough to really make a real decision. So my goal is to give them a chance to review everything. So that's why I want to invite them, but I want to create some curiosity for them to look for the next step. Okay? Very important to give them that chance. I like to use tools versus me trying to present. Okay? It's just like, I'm sure you went to a comedy show and then you come back home and you go next morning at your job and you try to repeat all the joke you heard last night and you're just terrible. You just missed them all. But it was so good, and you try to act the same, you try to say the same thing, it just doesn't work. So that's why personally I love to use tools. I love to use videos and websites and things like that. But I keep my PAS. I do that, and then I lead them to tools and information that's going to present for me. Okay? I love John's presentation. Simple, 4-step, boom, pretty straight, easy. Okay? So that's what you want to do. So your job is to create curiosity, move them to the next step. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to give you the psychology, okay, of how a prospecting process goes through. And then we're going to talk about specifically the process. Okay, so what information I send to this person and why. And then they're at the next step. What else do I send? If they're a customer, if they're a business prospect, if they're a network marketer, if they're a top leader. Okay, so the process is right after, but the first thing we need to do is cover the psychology behind it. Okay, because that's one thing I've been doing. Like, I've been prospecting and recruiting. I've been on the leaderboard in Ariix for a couple of years as one of the top recruiter in the company. This year, I'm not on the leaderboard. Why? I focus on 3X. I'm on the leaderboard of sales right now. All right. So in about 2.5 months, we sold 250 3X sales, 50 clinical packs, and several people joined the business. So talking about recruiting, I know what it's about. And I want to make sure also, I want to make sure I give you the right information. So earlier, John asked me how many people you recruit per day, and I said 10. To me, that's an average. There are times where I recruit more, I'm prospecting more, and there are times where I do less. Okay, so the past couple of days, I haven't talked to many prospects. But you know, when I did those 250 sales, I generated 22,000 prospects in 2.5 months. Okay, so yeah, you could say, okay, it's maybe 10 a day or maybe more. But that's basically, you know, just wanted to let you know. Because I don't want to be caught one day and you come back and say, you said 10 a day, and how many did you do yesterday? Well, I did 3. So just want to make sure there are times in your life where you're going to be going full throttle. You're going to be prospecting. You're going to get 30 prospects a day. There are other times it's going to be a little bit more slow. But typically, I've seen the growth of my organization happening not just like consistently, like sponsoring 2 or 3 a month. It's been 10 or 20, and then whoop, nothing. And then another 10 join the business. That's how I do it. Look at John. He's sponsored, what, 6 people in a week or so? So these are the things that happen in our business, just talking about numbers. Okay, so let's go back to the psychology. Your prospects operate at 3 levels. Level 1 is opinions. Opinions is we all have opinions about things. And sometimes we have opinions that we shouldn't even have. All right? We're just ignorant, but we have opinions on the subject. Number 2 is attitudes. Attitudes are much stronger. Okay? You know, you're going to talk about someone and say, oh, they've got a little attitude on this. All right? They're pretty strong on that. So that's the second level someone evolved. They go from opinions, they go to attitude. And the third one is belief. Belief is the strongest emotion. We know what we know. What others say doesn't matter. You heard John right here in the front of the room earlier and talk about the reps. Like, do you think he had belief, or he had just an opinion, or he had an attitude? I think he had all of them, right? But he was pretty strong with his belief that that thing is crap. And so, basically, every prospect you talk to will be in one of those 3 categories. Okay? So, always have that in mind. And then what you need to do is, depending on where they are, you need to move them from one direction or the other. So if I'm talking to a big leader in network marketing, if I'm starting to explain it, talk to them about their company and how their company is not doing some good stuff, understand that leaders are trained to have a very strong belief. And so they're going to try to destroy or eliminate anything that's going to decrease their belief. So I can't attack them like that. That's why the PAS formula works, because I can talk about my personal experience instead of attacking them. I've seen companies in the industry do this, do that, and here's what happened to me, or here's what happened to my friend. That's really sad. Unfortunately, it happens. And so I'm going to say those things and what the results were and all of this, leading into the solution of Ariix. But then now they're open, they're listening. Okay, so instead of attacking them right up front. But understand that depending if they just have an opinion on something, or they have an attitude, or they have a belief, it's going to be a little bit of a different job. All right, I'm going to walk you through these things. All right, so what are the 4 main beliefs that leaders have? Okay, they have 4 strong beliefs on four things. Number 1 is the company. Number 2 is the products. Number 3 is the industry of network marketing. And number 4 is themselves. When you build a belief in all those 4 areas, chances are you're going to be a pretty good leader. You're going to be strong. You're going to be building your business. No one's going to be shaking you. If someone says, yeah, but the products are expensive, well, depends on what you compare them to. All right? Nobody can tell me the products are expensive. They can tell me, but it doesn't shake me at all. Why? Because I got certain amount of information. I built that belief. You're here today, you're building your belief. Right now you're building your belief in yourself because you're learning things that's going to help you. Tomorrow you're going to hear about the company. You're going to build your belief about the company and the products, and you're going to start to see, wow, we've got something in our hands. And you're going to become unshakable eventually. So that's why we're doing all of this. Because we know we want to get you there, to that strong belief. The strong beliefs, again, company, products, industry of network marketing, and yourself. Company products, we have so much resources that it's easy to build that belief. Okay, because you can plug to the conference, live events like these, webinars, DNAs, all videos and all of that stuff. All right? Industry, it's a little bit harder because now you hear people say, oh, they failed and some others succeed. What's the difference? But the more you learn about it, the more you're going to start to build your belief in the industry. If someone tells me, if the president in my country tells me, oh, Stefan, network marketing doesn't work, I'll say, yeah, if you knew what I know about network marketing, I think you get your wife on board. All right? So that's the strength I have about the industry. That's the confidence I have. All right? And now yourself. Do you believe you can do it? And that's why we have training. We have things in place to help you build your belief that it's going to happen. And I'm going to talk about the 5 main areas of training that you need to work on to become strong in the business and build your abilities to do the business. So, here's what happens. New people join the business and they don't know something because they don't know the business. They just got started. And when we don't know something, we have a tendency to criticize and ridicule. We just don't know about it. So that's our tendency to do that. But eventually we get enough information about that specific subject, about the business, that we build that belief and we start to, believe in it. But the problem is we have this roller coaster, right? It goes up, we're excited, we just joined the business. Wow, what an amazing business. And you go back home and guess what you do? You talk to your grandmother, you say, hey, I got this great product. And she gets the product and she calls you back and she says, well, I tried the product. I actually opened the bottle, I smelled, and I got diarrhea. And now you're down, right? And then, next thing you know, the prospect you called the day before calls you back and they're interested. You're back up. And you go up and down like this. Your goal is to get enough information on those 4 areas I told you about so that you build that belief so you don't go that roller coaster all the time. Now, you're still going to have that roller coaster. It's just going to be not going that deep down. Very important to have that. All right? So, and by the way, you can't create any momentum when you're down. People feel it. All right? You can't create that momentum. You have to be in motion. So, and when new people actually meet leaders, they try to compare themselves. They try to compare their own opinions about the business with the leader's belief. And they say, well, no wonder he's succeeding. I mean, man, he's got so much strength. He's so strong. All right? We saw, John, again, with that same example earlier. Like, nobody wants to argue with him because he's strong on that subject. He knows what he's talking about. But that just didn't happen overnight. That happened over time where he built that belief, that knowledge. So the more information you gain about the business on those 4 areas, the better you're going to be, the more strong you're going to be. And you're going to get to the point where for you, it's a done deal. You're going to be a success. It's a done deal. It's just a matter of time. Now, it's just going to happen. Okay? So that's why that's very important to build that belief. So how did they get there? Well, how to get there is they plug into the events. They plug into the system. They plug into the tools all the time. You need to be there. Okay? So that's very, very important. So Now, another thing is you're only going to perform to your highest belief. All right? Always going to perform to your highest belief. Information built belief. So, you're going to go from staying plugged in to having a strong attitude, not a positive attitude, a strong attitude, to belief. How do leaders do it? They plug in, they build that strong conviction, just like that, I told you about the dog who can feel your emotion. If you don't have that strong conviction, it shows. Why is it that you have the same information to share with someone, you say the exact same thing, but you don't get the same result than the other person? That conviction shows. All right? It shows there. So that's why you need to build it. This is so crucial. So, what I'm telling you these things is because when I'm in recruiting mode, when I'm on the phone, when I have a prospect I'm talking to, all of these things are going on. And it kind of, over time, it kind of became a habit. It kind of become natural. Okay, because I just do them. But when I put them on paper, I realize, wow, this is all that's going on. Your strength, your belief, in which area, how you talk to people, like all of that. And that the system, I told you, PAS, and I lead with that first instead of attacking them so that there's no debate going on. It's more of a me presenting and then, whoop, they realize, yeah, I have that too. All right? So all of these things going on. All right? So when you're new, yes, you got those up and down. You're going to be called an idiot. Yeah, it could happen. But you know what? You're actually you need to know what to do when that happens. And then again, it's going back to information. It's going back to facts. The little thing won't matter that much anymore. Okay? You're going to be strong. So, 5 dimensions of training. And I realized when you're in the industry, you see a lot of training out there. And it kind of become confusing. Because there's, for example, personal development. That's one of them. Work hard. Skills training. Communication. Marketing. The 4th one is need more leads, need more prospects. There's going to be training on that. And the 5th one is getting started right. These are the main 4 subjects of training that you find. The 5 dimensions, 5 dimensions of training. And here's what I found, is you will see a leader or someone get a breakthrough in one of those areas, and that's going to become the main focus of what they teach and what they get their whole team on. Personally, I've had a breakthrough in all of those. And you're going to find probably over time, that's going to happen to you too. When I was a teenager, my father was in Amway. He had all these books, right? Book of the month, tape of the week. And I would listen to them and I would read personal development books. And to me, it was a breakthrough. Because I realized all the potential I had. I was just a kid in school. I didn't know I was meant to live a great life and do incredible things. I didn't know any of that. All I knew is I was in school. I didn't know what I was going to do later, but that's it. Then I read those books and it opened up my mind to all the possibilities. Okay, so personal development has been critical to me. But it was not just that one thing. That was, to me, a breakthrough in my life. Now, a lot of people just dive into personal development and you just focus on that and it's only that. Positive thinking, in the morning reading your affirmations, and eventually they become a little bit weird. Sometimes. So, that's why personal development is good. You just need to understand it's part of the whole thing. Someone else is going to be work hard. They're just a workaholic. They just do it. Do the numbers, work, and eventually it happens. So guess what they do? They teach everybody, work hard. Do it. Put in the numbers. Go for it. Okay? So I think you start to see what's going on in the industry, why there's so much focus on this or on that. It's a combination of these things. Skills training. Well, that was a breakthrough for me also. I was doing the numbers. I had work ethic. I was working in my traditional business, working like day and night all the time. I joined network marketing. I'm on the phone calling people. And then I meet Tim Sells. And he's just like, man, you work too hard for the amount of money you make. And so he started to teach me skills, right? And now I became better, more effective. And I produced more. And it was a breakthrough for me. Because instead of trying to get on the phone and talk to thousands of people and getting one person interested, I would suddenly have a ratio that made a lot of sense. I would present to, 30 people and would sign up about 10 in the business. So skills training is important also. And need more leads. Well, we see right now, if you're on Facebook, most of us are, you see all these training out there that teach you how to generate leads with Facebook, how to generate leads with Twitter, how to do this, how to do that, all right, to get more leads. That's just one part of the equation. But there are people who get so many leads that they can't handle them all. They got tons of leads. And so because they have such a massive leads, eventually some of them join the business. But then their whole focus is on lead generation. And they got everybody trying to do that. And most of them can't even generate a lead in their own backyard. They can't even find a prospect locally. All right? And now they've become stuck into creating products and doing all kinds of stuff to try to generate leads. It works. It's just one piece of the puzzle. And the last one was getting started right. So you get...
Can you go back over the...
Sure.
Give me the first two. I missed that.
Yeah, personal development. Second is work hard. And then skills. And then more leads, like generating leads. And getting started right.
Thank you.
All right, so getting started right, pretty obvious. You just, have a training, a system. You get your people started. And this create duplication, and so your whole thing is about, all right, you start the person on the right path, and here are the steps and all that. So basically, these are the 5 dimensions, and once you understand them, and you start to dive into each one and learn and improve, you're going to start to see you're going to have success. You can build a fortune just understanding these 5 concepts. It's not about just one. It's not about just 2. I mean, it's a combination. All right? And so now we can differentiate all the leaders out there in the marketplace and know, okay, yeah, that's what they're doing. But it's not just that. It's all of these things. And that's why one person is going to have a breakthrough and they just focus so much on that. That's why. It's because personally we have a tendency to get stuck in the one thing that we had a breakthrough with. All right? So again, what I'm doing right now is I'm building your belief in why is this business working? Why this type of training, or this person focused on personal development and that's their thing, and the other one is focused on something else and it's working for them. All right, where should I go? All right, so you just need to know, all right, these are different aspects. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so one of the last points before I move into the structure, or not the structure, but the process I walk a prospect through. Don't sell features or benefits. You want to focus on the most important problem that your person has. So recently I was talking to a leader in the industry, and he was with another company. Now, if I had focused on, we have the best compensation plan, that's a feature. If I had focused on, you don't have to rebuild over and over again with us. You're going to stick with us, it's going to last. That's a benefit. But if I touched on, and that's the most pressing thing that they have, all of them, what I touched on is with 1/4 of the current volume that's going on through your current organization, you can replace your income with our program, and you got people buying enrollment packs and all of that, so it's going to create even more income faster. To that person, that was the most pressing problem. It was not about just the long-term benefit of the comp plan, not having to rebuild. Those things are good. But what they're concerned about is, oh, I got to make a move into another company. That means, wow, I'm at risk. I'm going to lose my entire income. I'm going to have to make a switch. How fast can I recoup my money? How fast can I get back into my money? So that's the pressing issue, right? So focus on that. So you always need to think of, okay, my prospect, where are they? What's their most important thing right now? What's the biggest problem they want to solve? Okay? So all of these things are things going on in my mind when I'm doing my prospecting. Okay, so 4 types of prospects and their bugs. So the 4 types of prospects is I just listed the kind of people I talk to regularly. So customers, like people who want to buy the products, who could buy the products. Second one is network marketers, big builders, like big leaders, and people who are not network marketers. So if I look at customers, what is their bug? Like, what's the problem for customers? So I'm approaching someone, and yes, I have a product, they have a desire, they have a need, they have something, but why wouldn't they buy my product instead of the others? Well, one of them that I know is that they're not aware that they even need my product. I'm selling vitamins, minerals, I don't know. I don't need them. Like, I eat properly, I eat good food or whatever. Okay, could be that. Essential oils, why would I need essential oils? Okay, so these are some of the things. Another one is, why change brands? I already have a brand. Why change to another brand? Okay, so these are their main bug. That if I can switch those, and I can have them realize that, wow, I need this product. I need something that's going to solve this problem. And this brand is better than the other, let me switch. Okay, so that's what I have in mind. I'll come back to that. But basically, the solution is I need to open their eyes to those concepts. And I'll share with you some resources, some things I use. Okay, now let's go to network marketers. They've been in the business for a long time. And maybe they've been with a couple other companies. They haven't yet succeeded. What's their bug? What's the bug for them to join my company? Well, they're not having success, and so they're not sure it's going to be any different here. That's one of the bugs, because otherwise, if they thought, well, that could be different here, they might join. You know, they don't have, right now they don't have the path that guides them to reach their goals, because otherwise they would already be there. So that's the bug they have right now. So my solution, typically with network marketers, is to lead with the system. And when I talk about system, we're talking about 3X. And tomorrow, is it going to be tomorrow or Saturday? One of those 2 days, you're going to learn about something that's coming up for Juve. Okay, so, you know, how you build your business with Juve. So basically, and Jove, that's the English way to say. Okay, so network marketers, so that's what it is. So I'm going to lead with the system. And I'm going to tell you why a little bit after this. Big network marketers, their bug is to risk to start from scratch. That's their bug, is to risk to start from scratch again. I don't want to leave everything I've built before. Okay, that's one thing. And one of the bugs is they hate how they are currently treated, and they fear of what can happen here again. Okay, so what I'm going to lead in the solution here is to ethic, integrity, systems, long-term income potential, like all of the good things we heard about Ariix, like we've put together. Okay, so that's what I'm going to lead with. And I'm bringing these ideas like big leaders. I have personally enrolled big leaders in the business. But you know what? It took some time for me to learn how to enroll big leaders. Initially, I started in the business with people I know. And so I got to figure out what are the bugs for them for not wanting to join. Okay, so I figured those bugs, and then I found solutions that answers those things. And then I started to interact with network marketers. And the same thing, I identified what the bugs were, and then I found the solutions to those. And the same with big network marketers. I was trying to figure out, like, how do I get some of those on board? Because they're out there and they're struggling with the situation they're in right now. And yeah, I've been enrolling some of the big leaders in the industry. And the non-networkers, they just don't see themselves doing it. And you know, John talked about that earlier today. They just don't see themselves doing the business. So I'm going to, again, lead with the system. You saw John talk about that. Like, Ariix is doing its job for you. Ariix is going to upsell them to the supplements. It's going to do it for you. Like, you know, just reinforcing that. Okay, the system we have in place. And then, yes, they see the presentation. They see, wow, there's going to be tons of people who are going to, you know, want to do this. This is pretty simple. Not easy, simple. Okay. Resources. So, okay, so we talked a little bit about his psychology, all right? So we talked about that. I'm telling you about the process I'm walking people through. And many of you haven't heard here in the room this triangle of awareness, education, responsibility. But this is a very important concept because all the time I bring this back when I'm talking to a prospect. I'm always thinking, where is my prospect in this picture? Are they at the awareness phase? Are they education phase? And then they're going to take responsibility based on the amount of education they receive. So let me just repeat this concept so you understand it before I go through those resources. Awareness is that if someone is not aware that something exists that can help them, it doesn't matter if you provide them with all kinds of information. I remember a few years ago I was trying to market a vitamin mineral supplement. And my prospect, when I was talking to them, they had no clue that they needed supplements. It's actually what's going on in France. I've got a team in France right now, and it's I think it's 20% of the population takes supplements. And here it's about 3 times that. So they're in that situation where awareness is not there. So you need to build that. You need to understand that something's going on with your health that has a lack of nutrients. Okay, so you need to build that awareness. You can't just go to that person and say, hey, I've got the best supplements on the planet. They're pharmaceutical grade. They have this, they have that. They're not even in education yet. They don't even know they need those. And so that's why you see a lot of people, a lot of network marketers, they try to pitch their supplements where they're the best, they have the best stuff, and they post on their wall, and it doesn't sell, it doesn't work. It's because they skip that step. Very important that you do that first, then you move into education. And then based on the amount of education, will determine what their level of commitment or responsibility is going to be towards that subject. So of course, if I talk to Deanna about supplements, and I talk to someone else who never heard about supplements, or they start to hear about them, they're not going to be as committed to their supplements as Deanna is. Because she has a lot more information, a lot more education on them. She's not going to skip a day without taking them. Okay, so that's what it is. The more education you get on the subject, the more responsibility you take about that subject. Okay, so now let's go and think about that in terms of our prospects. Okay, so I want to provide my prospects with information based on where they are. So products, let's talk about, let's say, supplements. All right, awareness. One of the things I would do is talking about the degenerative diseases, what's going on right now in the marketplace. And if you look at some of the videos Dr. Strand published, because a lot of you see all these videos, the medical minutes, and you're wondering, what do I do with those? We have tons of resources like that. And some of them are great piece of education, awareness. So basically what they are is they're going to teach you, or he's going to talk about the osteoporosis climbing, heart attacks, all of those things, all right? So that's a great eye-opener to people around you, all right? So you use those for that. Then the person wants to know more. Then you lead with another video that talks about a specific product that helps with that problem. That's how you do it. I love 3X because 3X is a built-in system to do exactly that, from A to Z. It starts with creating the awareness that something out there exists that's better than anything else. Why? And he starts to build that belief that, oh yeah, maybe there's all kinds of diet programs that don't work. Exercising doesn't work. Like all of that to some degree. And he explains, he educates you. It starts to build that awareness moving into education. Once you got the education, then you get into the program, and now you learn about the supplements, and it just like keeps on going like this. All right? So that's why, for me, it's an amazing system. And that's why I lead with that with my prospect. So, products, so some other videos that create this great awareness and education would be a product philosophy, like why is it that Ariix is different, like the product philosophy. You saw the video with Deanna Latson and Dr. Linda Shea, not doctor, but Linda Shea. So that's one thing. The no compromise video, the air pollution problems, water pollution problems, before and after pictures, comparative chart, bad ingredient list, like all of those are pieces of information that people will realize, wow, there's something bad with these products. Like I'm taking skincare products and there's bad ingredients. Now they become aware that something exists out there. Maybe I need to research a little bit more about what kind of products I should put on my skin. Okay, so these are some of those ideas. Now, education would be a short product clips. We have tons of those little mini clips. You go and you see Deanna, she's outside, and they film her outside, Dr. Strand, all of those. Those are great video clips that talk about specific products. Okay, so short clips, webinars, again, these are educational modules. On the business side, let's look at non-networkers. Awareness would be success stories. All right, that, wow, you know, there are people making money with a business. They can work from home. Okay, so success stories are great eye-openers. So if you have team members who are rank advancing and making money in Ariix, why don't you publish about them on your wall? Hey, congratulations, my friend just reached $375 a week income with our business. That could get some of your friends to wonder, what's that business about? Maybe there's something here I need to learn more about. Okay, so that's the awareness for non-networkers. Education, brilliant compensation is a good one. Ariix.com. What I would send it with Ariix would be 2 branded websites, so that, let's say, Purity website, 3X website. So these are good additionals. Ariix.com, it gives a lot of credibility. Oh, that's a strong company. So the 3X system. So these are some of the things I use with non-networkers. So let me just repeat on that. So if I'm talking to a non-networker and they want to get information, yes, brilliant compensation is a great one. They review it, they want more information. Ariix, 2 of the websites about some specific brands, could be Juvet, could be 3X, and the Ariix.com website. Why I would use Ariix.com? Because Ariix.com just builds that credibility, looks solid, looks like a big company. Okay? Now, network marketers. 2 of the videos I've used for a long time with network marketers is why do most people fail and who gets rich. These are 2 videos Tim produced many years ago, and you can find them on firstclassmlm.com. And I use them often. Like I'm going to talk to someone who's a networker, on Facebook. I'm chatting with them, and we're, talking about, oh, that's a great industry to be in. Have you ever seen those videos? Like, why do most people fail? Just check it out. And most of the time, they're like really amazed. Like, wow, that's the best explanation I've ever seen. Have you ever seen brilliant compensation? Many of them haven't. Okay, so it's just a great opener. And especially, why do most people fail? Because they realize there's great presenters out there, great training that could actually put me on the path to really succeed in the business. And Tim is behind it, and he's our partner, so that's even better. Education would be 3X as a system. So I use 3X as a system, and I let them take the tours. If I have a networker who's looking at the business, first thing I'll do is I'll put them on 3X and say, go check it out. Because 3X is going to basically, it's changing the game. And I tell them about the 3 aspects of 3X. It's a sales funnel that basically recruits for you customers. Once the customers are on board, it helps them lose fat, lose weight, but it also educates them on the products. And it creates that retention. So you don't lose your customers. They want to keep buying the products. And the third part of 3X is the upgrade, where you're going to convert people into the business, becoming affiliate, becoming business partners. So for me, recently, 3X has been a big, big recruiting tool. And especially even more today with all of these online trainings about lead generation and all that, and people are lost into branding themselves, trying to generate leads and building their own info product. I just tell them you don't have to do that. You create the perfect duplication. You get people on board with that. You don't need to be a brand expert. You just promote that system. It's sales funnel, educate customers, create retention, upgrade to reps into your business. All right, so I'm paying a little bit more attention to this one because there's tons of network marketers out there who are not happy. And you know what? Unfortunately, the attrition rate is very high in the industry. A lot of people quit. But it's the same with gym memberships. It's the same with many other industries. But so imagine you build relationship with network marketers. You know that 50% of them will probably be in another company in a year from now. What if you kept in touch with those people and you educate them and you show them 3X and you know what's going to happen when they're ready to do a move, to make a move? They'll go where they think they have a chance to succeed. Now, MLM Leaders. Awareness is terminations. They don't realize there's like that many terminations out there, or maybe they are aware and they're scared about it. Ethic. The ethic in the products. A lot of them think they're in a company that has a great, amazing product, but they don't realize there's all of this crap in their products. Okay, so that would be another point to touch to create that awareness. Buying of leaders. So to go back to my conversation earlier, I'm talking to a leader on the phone, and he says, so what's your business? Oh, I'm with Ariix. Have you ever heard of them? He says, oh no, what's that? Boom, and I'm moving into PAS, all right, problem. So, there's all these terminations of reps, like leaders not treated right. Some companies just buy leaders, and then they realize why they buy leaders is because they're able to take money off of the comp plan and put money on the front of buying the leaders. So then once the leaders are in, they realize later on that their comp plan pays way less than what they were expecting because they have to take that money from somewhere. Like all of these things. And then they realize in their policies and procedures, there's no protection. You can cancel them overnight. And so all of this crap going on, the lack of ethic, the moving of lines, and all of that going on, right? And so Ariix is just a company that decided to be a model company for the industry. And so they create a Bill of Rights that protects the reps. And now I'm moving into education. All right? All right, so that's where I'm moving. So education will be just creating a Bill of Rights, protection for the reps. They can't terminate you like this overnight. They have even protection that they'll never go retail. They're always going to be doing network marketing. So I'm building this up. So when I'm done, what do you think they have in mind? I didn't attack them. I just put in their minds some doubts and some stuff. Because understand what I talked to you about earlier. All right? People have opinions, attitude, and then belief. And leaders, they became leaders because they built a really, really strong belief. And so if they're talking to me, and it says, oh, yeah, I'm in this company, it's amazing. We're growing so fast. My team is exploding all over the place. And I say, yeah, but there's all these terminations and blah, 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 blah. Then forget this. Now it's a debate. I'm going to be fighting with them. They don't want to buy into this. They're going to try to stay away from me because they're protecting their belief. That's what keeps them in the business. That's what makes them leaders. So I can't attack that. So the only way is to use that formula I just explained. It's just so simple. PAS. You just go through that. Super easy. You can do that with a big leader. And I'm giving you some words today, right? What to touch, what to talk about. But basically that's how me talking to a couple leaders, I figured out like those were the things that touched them. And the same thing with network marketers. And the same thing with customers. And the same thing with friends, family. You're going to find the words that touch them. Okay, just like John, when he talked earlier about the firefighters. All right, what did he touch on? They go through school, they invest this amount of money, they don't make any money for this number of years, like boom, 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 and I'm going nowhere with that because in 10 years, here's what I'm going to be. What is he doing? Now he's creating in the prospect's mind, man, this is right, like what's my future? All right, they start to realize these things. So even though he may, I don't know, maybe he knew, but even though some of the leaders don't know that formula, all I explained to you tonight, they just have all those things put together, but they can't explain all of this. So that's what I wanted to do tonight, is to go over the thought process, like all of these things, so that it makes sense, but then also the process of what are the resources we have, and we have tons of resources. So going back to that leader, so then that leader is, oh really? Tell me more about that. Like, what do you have? Can you send me information? What do I send them? Now I'm past the awareness stage. I'm going into education, so I send them Ariix Origins, which is Fred and Mark to just talk about all the bad stuff in the industry and why they wanted to create that model company. I'm going to send them the Bill of Rights. I'm going to send them the brands because we have specific brands, so we don't decrease the saturation of the name. So all of that. Founders Club, they're a big leader. They can see, wow, I'm going to share 50% of the profits of the company. So these are the things I'm going to share with them. So now I got them hooked. Forget this. Like now they can never look back at their company the way they have. And that's basically why we're here. Ariix created this company because they were tired of all of this stuff going on in the industry. It's time that the other companies adjust because they don't respect the reps. They don't respect people in the field. They sell the dream of freedom, but you know what? They never fully give them the freedom. They can take it away anytime. But Ariix doesn't. They just really want your freedom. So those are the the resources, the step, awareness, education. You understand that. The PAS formula, super simple. Now you can start a conversation with anybody, all right, about products, business, whatever. Just lead with that. Okay, so if you, like myself, I don't have a weight loss story. And so if someone asks me, so what kind of products do you market? Oh, I'm into weight loss. My brother tried to lose weight for a few years. He's been working out like crazy. I mean, hours in the gym. He works out, doesn't lose any weight. Right, so I'm telling them the problem. All right? And then he gets on a couple diets, they don't work, gain back the weight, blah, blah, blah. And then low self-esteem, starts to wonder, like it affects all areas of his life, so agitate, right? And then got on this program which basically target the 7 core elements of fat loss. And that's why on any other diet, they're going to go and focus on 1 or 2 areas of fat loss. It's going to work for a few people, but maybe it's not the 1 or 2 area that that person has a problem with. So then this one addresses them all, rebalances it, with their body and everything. And so that's the difference. Pretty simple, right? And then they're the ones asking me, really? Wow, do you have information? Sure. 3x, boom. Okay, so let me just review all the points, okay? Number 1 is PAS that we talked about, okay? So it could be over the phone, it could be in person. So problem, agitate, and then the next step is solve. And when it's solved, I like to use, as much as I can, tools to demonstrate based on where they are. Awareness, education, you know, all of that. Okay, so we talked about awareness, education. I think you said like 100,000 a year. Let's look at how we can put that in place so you know exactly what you would have to do to reach that. Don't you think they'll want to be on that call? Probably, right? They told me that's what they want. So let's look at the plan of action they're going to have to do to reach that. Okay, so create curiosity for the next appointment. Build your belief. All right, I think let's stress that enough, because that belief is going to influence your recruiting. It is. It's not just about the nice words you say. It's not just about the sequence. It's about how you feel. It transpires over to your prospect. Just like the analogy I gave you earlier with the dog who feels how you feel. Right? You meet a dog, you're in fear. He feels that. It's the same thing with your prospect. If you're talking to a prospect and all you have in mind is dollar signs, I'm going to make money. Oh, gee, they may be buying an ultimate pack. That's $400 extra. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Or you have a value base. You're really looking to help them. But you know you've got the candy. You have the candy, not them. All right? So that's why you need to build that belief very strongly. And one other thing we talked about is get trained to get your breakthrough. Is it in personal development? Is it like you're stuck, that you don't have that confidence, that you can do great things in life? Is it that? Or is it the skills? You just need to learn what to say, how to say it. Go into inviting formula, presenting. Just talked about presenting tonight. You know, is it in working hard? Is it that you just don't put in the effort to do the numbers? Like maybe you're not consistent enough? What is it? All right? Or is it starting your reps properly? All right? That's maybe what's the thing that's for you is missing. Okay, so the 5 areas we talked about. So that's it. I don't know how you feel, but personally, when I look at that, it's a lot of information. But when I look at all of this, to me, these are all the pieces that gets me to recruit. And now I can recruit friends, family, people I know, can recruit network marketers, I can recruit top leaders, I can get customers, I can do all of that. And the psychology applies everywhere. You know, the belief, the formula, the structure, I know what to say, all of that. So it's going to take a little bit of time for you to learn the words and all of that. But you're here, like this weekend, you're going to learn some words, like what they say. Oh, that's interesting the way she said that. You write it down. Right? It's part of your vocabulary. Okay, so it is a process. So there you have it. All right, psychology, process. You've got it. You put it together. That's the formula. That's what I use. And yeah. So thank you, everyone.